Do we have to crank it or how do we start it? All right, welcome back, everyone. We are back in open session. Rise and report. We did hear some reports from staff on HR issues. And so our next item of business, 6.1 in delegations, EXP Services Incorporated, and that's on the Parkville Stormwater Management. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'll just wait a minute until the slides are up.
Okay, as soon as it's loaded up. Whenever you're ready, Cameron, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. So hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Cam Rickert. I'm with EXP Services, Inc. We helped North Middlesex prepare a stormwater management master plan for the town of Park Hill. We'll start off with an acknowledgement of ancestral lands on the screen now. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Attawandaron, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Lenape peoples. It's through the connection with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Next slide. Thank you. So to support the master planning process, we held a PIC, a Public Information Center, on October 6th of 2025. It was to inform the public of the work that we were doing and to give them a forum in which they could voice their opinions or flag any issues that they were seeing personally in their places of residence. Next slide. So the first question, why does the municipality need a stormwater management master plan? This plan assists the municipality with identifying aging infrastructure and providing an implementation strategy going forward to help forecast budgets for coming years. So our problem and opportunity statement. We were going to address deficiencies in the existing stormwater management system and identify any gaps in the infrastructure, provide solutions to reduce the flood risks, support future development through sustainable long-term drainage strategies, and verify compliance with municipal, provincial, and conservation authority requirements. And the stormwater management master plan aimed to address stormwater infrastructure performance. It was to develop strategies to improve the capacity, reduce flood risk, and enhance system resilience. Incorporated updated hydrologic and hydraulic modeling to reflect current and future conditions and provide a framework for cost-effective, sustainable infrastructure replacement for the Park Hill community. So here is just a quick glossary for some terms that we used in the Stormwater Management Master Plan report and the slides that we will get into next. So the study area was broken out by major outlets within the town of Park Hill. So there was catchments A through E, more or less divided into the quadrants of the town. From there, those large catchment areas, we subdelineated smaller drainage areas based on any information that we could find regarding as-built drawings or other stormwater plans or topographic data from DEM information that was provided through the Ontario government. We looked at potentially investigating the backwater impacts through the Cameron Gillies municipal drain. However, it appears that this drain is primarily controlled by the Asable Bayfield Conservation Authority, and therefore any improvements to the drain are not necessarily going to be reflective of the potential flood risk. So a hydraulic assessment was carried out using the North Middlesex infrastructure guidelines to identify, or I guess to estimate the capacity of the existing storm infrastructure. After we had performed the existing capacity assessment, we identified all of the pipes that were over capacity within each catchment. And you can see there on the table that there are a significant number of pipes within Park Hill that are well over capacity. So before we got into developing an implementation strategy, we wanted to look at some other information that was needed to be cross-referenced. It would be inefficient to only replace a storm sewer beneath a road. So while we are recommending to reconstruct a road, we looked at the age of sanitary and water main infrastructure in the vicinity. So as you can see here, this is just a table outlining what the age of the infrastructure, be that sanitary, water main and storm sewers are within each catchment. And then we developed a prioritization schedule and assigned different weighting factors to each of the criteria that we were looking at to develop the implementation strategy. So you can see that we had a heavy weight on the the capacity of the storm sewers, as this is a stormwater management master plan. We looked at the storm sewer age, the sanitary sewer age, the age of the water main, the storm sewer condition, and any issues that were flagged during CCTV investigations, and then sanitary sewer condition, if there were any issues flagged during CCTV. So this is what the prioritization schedule looked like if we were only looking at storm sewer capacity and replacing pipes that were significantly deficient. Next slide. As part of the prioritization, we wanted to really drill down on what the most efficient use of the municipality budget would be, and that's why we developed the scoring method. So you can see the highest priority areas are within catchments A, B, and D. Next slide. So in conclusion, we did an assessment of the existing system performance. We identified the undersized infrastructure for each catchment. We developed a proposed sizing for the replacement pipes, following the same approach as the original hydraulic analysis. And we incorporated the age of an adjacent infrastructure to help inform the prioritization schedule. These are some of the references we used, and I believe that concludes the presentation.
Thanks, Cameron. Questions from council? Who'd like to start? Councilor Canellis.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. My question for you is that when you identify the deficiencies, the high deficiencies on what the slide it was with the red there. Yep, that was, yeah. 15, you said? Slide 15. Do you base that on like the Conservation Authority does on the 1 in a 100-year rain episode, the flooding episode? Is that how you base it, or what do you base it on?
That's a good question.
I know.
The municipal guidelines for the capacity assessment that we've performed is based on a 2-year event. And that's the standard. Anything beyond that, if the pipes are the flow is over capacity of the pipes, then flow travels overland. So that's what we were looking at. No problem.
Is there other questions here before we go? And then I'll go to Basil. John. Councilor Keogh, pardon me.
That's okay. John's fine.
Yeah.
It's preferred, actually. On that same slide, on the 15, so significantly deficient. You have here that they are undersized. Are any of these just plugged as well?
Sorry, just plugged?
Yeah,
Plugged.
That's very hard to tell without extensive CCTV investigation.
Okay. I guess what I'm asking then, if we did have a contractor come in to do like with a hydrovac truck and clean some of that out. Would there be a possibility we could get this significant efficiency in a reduced? Are we? At this
Unlikely.
point in time, it's a gas.
Yeah, so the analysis that we did considered completely free-flowing pipes. Now, also during the design process, when they were originally installed, there's a minimum slope on storm sewers to provide cleanouts. So ideally, there would not be sediment buildup. Any blockages that you're referencing may have to do with roots. So that's really hard to tell, but it wouldn't help the surcharge that we're seeing.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Hodgins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Combination between page 15 and then go back to 11. I'll start with 11, which was pipe, there was one there, capacity ratio, pipes over capacity, and we'll just use catchment A or any one of them. It says the 52 or over. Are they just over capacity or are they 50% over? Or is that an answer you can give? And when you look at, could take the A and then go back to the map where it shows the green and the different things, there is a significant amount of them in that green that are over capacity, but are they just over capacity or are they lots over capacity?
Yeah, so that's not, we didn't get that granular in terms of the PIC slides, but in the report, we have our supporting stormwater design sheet, and you can see how many are over capacity by 1% or by a couple 100%.
You know, it's just the numbers of the, you know, when you say there, and there's a good number that they say pipes over capacity, I guess it's a good thing. But are they just over the capacity by 2% or something like that? You know, that's.
Yeah, we could have maybe put in another metric to identify to what extent they're over capacity, but that's a good point.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, through your worship, if I might just add, I'm sure council's aware, a 1 in a 2 year storm event anymore is extremely common. So I guess the issue that you're seeing there is whether it's 1% or 100, we're getting 1 in 2 year storms a lot more than 1 every 2 years. So their overcapacity is overcapacity, unfortunately. And we're seeing the storm events obviously a lot more.
Okay, thank you. If there's no more questions right now, I'd turn this over to Faisal to do his report, and then there may be more. All right, go ahead, Councillor.
And as you will recall, Mayor Ropp, I believe it was in 2020 or 2021, when we did have a significant rain event here. I think we got 4 inches in a matter of a couple hours, and there's a significant flooding happening out through the Cameron-Diddy drain and all that. What happened in these sections here where you're saying is deficient, severely deficient? Was there flooding there at that time? Because I don't recall hearing that.
Sam, go ahead. I don't know if you can answer that question. Thank you.
Yeah, through your worship to the council, that's not something that I can answer, but it's certainly something I can look into and report back. I don't recall seeing records that supported that unless you do.
No, I'd appreciate that if you would. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Faisal, you have a report to go with this.
Thank you, Worship. Good evening, everyone. To the mayor and member of council, before you this evening is report the IO 89/2025 regarding the Park Hill Stormwater Management Master Plan project completion update for information. The municipality retained EXP services to complete the Park Hill Stormwater Management Master Plan under project IO 01/2025. This work was initiated to address aging stormwater infrastructure, hydraulic deficiencies, and climate resilience concerning Park Hill. The study involved GIS analysis, hydraulic modeling, and CCTV inspection. It found that much of the storm sewer network is undersized for 5-year design storm, and most underground infrastructure has exceeded its service life. A weighting priority framework identified high need corridors for stage replacement based on performance, age, and condition. The approved 2025 capital budget amount for this master plan IO 01/2025 was 100,000. The code from EXP services, including HST, is 58,251.50, which is well under the available budget. Recommendation in front of council this evening are as follows: that council receives report DIO 89 2025 regarding the Parkville Stormwater Management Master Plan, project completion update for information, and that recommend capital and maintenance projects outlining the master plan be recommended to head of council to be carried forward for consideration as part of future budget deliberation as a part of overall municipal asset management works. EXP, Sam and I are happy to answer questions if anyone has.
Thank you. Questions for Faisal? Councilor Canellison. And then I'll Sam next.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
my question is that in your recommendation that the capital maintenance project be outlined in the master, excuse me, master plan to be recommended to head of council and to be carried forward for future budget deliberations, that's not a commitment to do it. That's just to be considered. Is that correct?
Sam.
Through your worship to the councillor, that's correct. Yes, we'll be recommending projects as an overall as part of asset management through budget processes.
Thank
So
you.
no commitment.
Okay. Any other questions at this time? Okay, we have recommendation you're going to adopt, moved by Councilor Daigle, seconded by Councilor Nerda. In favor? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Okay, well, we're going to move on here. 7.2, and that is the report from the Economic Development and Community Services, and that's the land acknowledgement plaque. I think, Sam, you're going to. Okay, for the two of us.
Yeah, thank you, your worship, and certainly between the CEO and myself, because I had a bit of involvement in this, I'm happy to deliver this report on behalf of our Director of Community Services and Economic Development. So before you, Mr. Mayor and members of council, this evening is report DCS 19 of 2025 that, based on a discussion and a recommendation at our last council meeting to bring this back forward through report, is being formally brought back forward, which was to explore the options of installing a permanent plaque at the Shared Services Center here. So that's what staff explored. So you'll find within the report that there are two options that were quoted and presented, which were a silver option and a bronze option. And again, you'll see the prices noted in the report there, which was roughly 3,000 for silver and roughly 5,000 for bronze. You'll note in the report as well that staff included what the rough size would be, which is around 18 to 24 inches. So a foot and a half by 2 feet or so is the rough size that staff had got quoted. And then also in the report, you'll find what verbiage is being recommended as part of the report. So when staff were looking to get this quoted and put together, we asked an internal staff member who, of course, is very knowledgeable on this sort of thing, and she was able to help us and pull something together in the way of what she felt was appropriate to do. And so that's included in the report as well, so you can kind of see what it would look like. And then subsequently, the quotes were based on that. You'll also find in the report that because this is an item that was not included in budget, it's just noted that if this is something that council choose to pursue, that it would go towards the shared services line, and obviously the overage would just be reflected on that budget line, because this would go above and beyond what the facility currently has remaining, which is roughly $1,500. So the recommendation before council this evening for this report is that council receive report DCS 19 titled Land Acknowledgement Plaques as Information, and the council directs staff to purchase a bronze plaque with the verbiage and pronunciation guides outlined in the report for installation at the Shared Services Center, and that council directs staff to position the plaque between the entrance doors of the Shared Services Center and in the main entrance. And again, I guess I'll just reiterate that staff's recommendation as part of this report are to pursue the bronze option as quoted instead of the silver, which is why that is reflected in the motion. So again, I think between the CEO and myself, we can try and answer any questions anyone might have.
Anything you'd like to add, Carolyn?
No, I believe that Sam has covered everything, but if there's any questions, I am also here to answer the questions.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Daigle was first.
My only thought on this is we're talking between the front doors, the two sets of sliding doors, I think, right? What about theft? We're having massive cemetery thefts and stuff for bronze plaques. Are we gonna come in some morning and it's gone? Because it wouldn't take much to take it off the wall in that location. Because the library is the only open at night and they can't see it. I'm just wondering if it should not be farther into the building.
Certainly, we can
Where-
take correction from council if it's what you wish. Yeah.
So you're saying you'd like to see it inside the lobby, not in between the doors?
Where it's not quite as accessible to have somebody going by with us and it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Okay, I don't think you need a motion. I think that's just a direction from council, correct? Just a minute, I have go ahead, finish, follow up.
I was just, my follow-up was, I was going to make the motion. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I will keep that in. I just will get some other comments here and then. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one quick one. So the price that we see here, is that for each plaque or for putting a plaque in each of the 4 facilities?
Go ahead.
But through your worship, I could be wrong here, but I believe the recommendation only at this time is to put a plaque in the shared services center. So it would just be one plaque at that one cost.
Thank you, Sam.
Councillor Irwin.
Thank you, Worship. I just have a question in terms of the wording on the plaque, and why is it different than the traditional land acknowledgement wording? If you want to go back to the slideshow that we just saw, traditional land acknowledgement wording is there. And the wording on the plaque that we see is it's different verbiage. So I'm curious why we're using different verbiage on the plaque versus traditional land acknowledgement.
Sam.
Through your worship, the councillor, when we did the verbiage for the plaque, we consulted a staff member who, again, like I mentioned, has background and history, obviously, with these things. So we asked her to look into it and bring back something that she felt was appropriate based on obviously her heritage and her culture. So what you see there is what she brought forward as being appropriate from her perspective. The one that you would have seen in the presentation from EXP was prepared by someone from EXP who does this work. So I guess it was just a matter of 2 different people doing 2 different things, but.
Councillor Irwin, follow up.
The one from EXP is the one that the county uses on special occasions. It's the one that I've delivered in the past. I'm just curious why it's different verbiage. That was a simple question.
Okay, and that's the reason for it, right? Sam, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, no, through your worship, the council, I was just going to add to what Carolyn mentioned previously. If that can just be a direction of council, we can adjust the verbiage to read the other one if that's council's wish.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Hodgins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I see we're just considering the one to go here in the shared services area. But in another, like in 2026, they're looking at the budget to put them in 3 more places. I know as a comment to my fellow counselor there as to what should we find proper location for those in the other 3 spots? So the same thing is a possibility that we know where they're safe and sound before we direct them or even get them. Thank you.
Sam?
Through your worship, the council, I would just add that those are obviously subject to 2026 budget. So should we get that budget, that's certainly something that could be looked at that time. Yes.
Okay. Councillor Daigle.
The report also states that similar to the EXP report, it's going to have the pronunciation of the words below the feather type of thing. Is that? Yes. Thank you.
So you're moving it, but what verbiage are you moving? This verbiage or EXP?
I'll go with what the verbiage that was presented here.
The verbiage that's presented. Okay, Councillor Keo.
I guess I just wanted clarification. Is there a standard one that is, and that's the one, Councillor Irwin, you were talking about? Like it's a.
If I may, your worship,
Go ahead.
you can simply go online, look
Yep.
up County Middlesex, land acknowledgement, and that's the one I think you read earlier, your worship, and that's the one that tend to use at official functions.
And it's just a standard.
It's like it is the EXP one.
Okay.
So I've had to give it a couple of times. I wasn't sure which one to give, so I looked it up online. And County Middlesex Land Acknowledgement, they actually have one that they promote and use, and that's the one that.
But it is a little different, including London Township and different.
It is a little different.
It is a little different. So there does seem to be, and you go to the city of London, it's a little different. I mean, it's just, there is some differences to it. So
So there is custom ones just suitable to the area in which it's. Okay, that's all I wanted.
but you're moving it with the verbiage that's been presented. Okay, is there a seconder for that? Counselor Keough seconds that. Any other discussion on it? Counselor Connellson.
Yes, Mayor Rob, I do have some concern, as I do with my fellow Councilor Irwin here as well, with the verbiage here. I think I take a specific concern about the words endure in Canada, which means that they're still enduring that. Did they in the past? Yes. Do they still? I'm not convinced of that. I can't support it as it stands now.
Okay. Thank you. Other comments? We have a motion that's been seconded. In favor of that motion. In favor? You're in favor? 2, 3, 4. Opposed? 3 opposed. That carries. 4 3. I did support him. Okay. Counselor Keough?
So for clarification, we are going with the standardized one?
With the verbiage that's been presented.
Oh, we are going with this, okay.
Yes, okay. Correct? Okay. So that's moved. And our next one is 7.3. And that is Sam, I believe you're on again, the report from Director for the Park Hill Sewage Lagoon dredging.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to you and all the members of council. Before you this evening is report DIO 86 of 2025, which presents a project completion update for the sewage lagoon dredging project at the lagoons in Park Hill here. So key highlights of my report, you'll note that the dredging project was obviously delivered in 2 phases. Half of it was done last year and the other half of it was done this year. And obviously the goal was to restore significant lagoon capacity and improve the overall long-term performance of the lagoons. Council originally awarded the contract to GFL Environmental Inc. in July of 2024 at the value of 1.96 million, with the engineering and contract administration that was subsequently awarded to RVA Anderson at that time. And then in 2025, council also approved a $100,000 contingency extension for the likelihood that we would do additional dredging like we did with the one cell should it come up with the north. So council then approved an extra 100,000 on top of that 1.96 to increase the contingency in 2025. Again, you'll note in my report that in total, more than 8,696 dry tons of sludge were removed, which far exceeded the tendered quantities, and they did an additional 778 tons at no additional cost to the municipality whatsoever. They did that work, and that was not work that we paid for in any way, shape, or form. So the project obviously consisted of cleaning out both cells of the lagoons. Would be the south cell, which was phase 1 in 2024, and the north cell, which was phase 2 in 2025. So they did do that desludging of both of the lagoons. And then part of that was to install new discharge valves on both sides because the discharge valves on either side were completely corroded and inoperable. So in 2024, they desludged the south cell, they replaced a discharge valve, and they did 5,200 and roughly 18 dry tons of sludge that year, which was 800 over what we tendered. And then in 2025, they did roughly 3,500, which again, about 600 extra tons exceeding the contract in 2025. And we also did a discharge valve replacement in 2025 for the same reasons. The financial summary of the project, again, you'll find in my report. I'll just note at high level that originally council budgeted roughly 2.3 million. And with all said and done, the project was finished well under budget, which is fantastic. And again, they did a lot of extra dry sludging that we did not pay for above and beyond the contract, which again is good news. And again, you'll note in the RVA Anderson thing that I appended to the report, that the unit dredging costs that we saw from the project based on what we estimated to what we actually paid were far below what we estimated, which is obviously why the project is well under budget. You'll note it again in my report that the RVA report that's appended does again overall note that we should look at desludging every 5 to 10 years to just keep up the operational capacity of it. They do still recommend that we look at additional measures there such as baffles or other thing, which again, I'll remind council that we have RVA procured under a separate assignment and they are looking at that right now. And that is something that we'll bring back separately to council, hopefully in the near future in December when that is wrapped up. So those are recommendations that they did carry as part of their report, which staff are still moving forward with and are things that we're going to report back to council at a later date. You'll again note in my report and subsequently in RVAs as well that while the number is likely conservative, they still are holding that we opened up capacity for roughly 372 ERUs, so single family homes, as part of that work that we did. So again, a good news story all around. We did open up that capacity. The project finished well under budget and it is now fully completed and done. So the recommendation before council this evening on this report is that council receives report DIO 86 of 2025 regarding the Park Hill Sewage Lagoon dredging project completion update for information. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Sam. Questions? Councilor Knellison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Sam, I had the pleasure of meeting with a bunch of agricultural people this morning when I went to McGee's to just chat with some. And the question they asked me, which I fully expected, but I couldn't answer, was you need special licenses and permitting to perform this task of desledging? Their question was, can you not get a bunch of farmers with their tanks to take it out?
Through your worship to the councillor, yes, you do need special licensing and permitting to do that work. Yes.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Any other questions? Moved by Councilor Daigle, seconded by Councilor Merida. All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, exactly. Just before we go to the next slide, I just want to go back to the plaque. I want the public to realize that we all agreed to do the plaque. It was just a discussion on the verbiage, but no one's disagreeing with doing the plaque. I don't want that to be misinterpreted. So let's move on to the water and wastewater rates. And Sam, that's you again.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to you and all the members of council. Before you this evening is report DIO 81 of 2025, which presents proposed water and wastewater rates and an associated bylaw for 2026. Key highlights of my report, which again, if you recall from the last report I brought in front of council at the last meeting regarding this, are that the 2024 rate study and financial plan identified that the municipality conduct annual adjustments required to maintain full cost recovery, fund major water and wastewater capital works, and remain compliant with provincial legislation, including the Safe Water Drinking Act, Ontario Regulation 45307, and the Infrastructure for Jobs and Prosperity Act. Earlier in 2025, again at the last meeting, council approved transitioning away from the 3-year average billing methodology and adopting a new standardized industry structure, which consists of a fixed base charge based on meter size, and then a uniform volumetric rate per cubic meter, which is carried in this report. And the proposed 2026 increases that you'll find in my report are 14% for water and 8% for wastewater, which, despite the percentage change, still result in lower average customer bills because of the way we've changed the billing structure, that it is now significantly reduced. And even with these rate implementation, it's expected that customer bills will still be well lower than they are now. You'll note that in my report, again, the municipality serves roughly just over 2,300 water customers and over 1,200 wastewater customers. We purchase our water from Lake Huron Primary Water Supply, and we distribute it through reservoirs, booster stations, and we have an estimated over $260 million worth of water main infrastructure and roughly over 500 kilometers of it. So we certainly have a very big and diverse water system. And then obviously we provide wastewater services through Park Hill, also Craig through the Park Hill Lagoon, the also Craig wastewater treatment plant, and then multiple sewage pumping stations and force mains and sewers throughout the municipality for the wastewater infrastructure that we have. So the provincial requirements, and again, I note this in my report, particularly Ontario Regulation 45307 and 58817, and the Water Opportunities Act require municipalities to adopt full cost recovery, asset lifecycle planning, and evidence-based forecasting. So that is what these rate increases are based on. With the work that Watson did to put these numbers in place, it was all assuming that we look to align with those OREGs, and we look to become full cost recovery and asset lifecycle planning and evidence-based forecasting to pay for the infrastructure that we have. So in 2025, again, I'll just reiterate that council approved transitioning away from the 3-year average methodology, and will now be implementing a new structure starting January 1 of 2026, which moves away from the 3-year average, moves us to a fixed base, and moves us to a straight uniform volume charge, which again is estimated to bring customer bills down roughly half based on the structure change. And you'll note in my report in the bylaw that, again, in alignment with the work that has been put before council before, it's recommended at this time that those numbers be increased by 14% for water and 8% for wastewater. And again, these may appear high, but I just want to remind council that based on the changes we just made, even with these increases, the bills will still be far cheaper than they are now. So the recommendations before council this evening are that council receives report DIO 81 of 2025 regarding the 2026 water and wastewater rates as information, and that the attached Schedule A be approved and adopted by bylaw, and that the water and wastewater rate adjustments come into full force and effect as of January 1st of 2025. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. 6, sorry, yes, thanks.
Correct. Thank you. Questions? Councilor Canellison?
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Sam, I'm looking here at the slide here for from 2024 to 2033. If we approve your report, are you looking at implementing those rates over the next number of years or just for 2026?
Through your worship to the councillor, at this time, it's only for 2026. The table that you see there is the table that was suggested as Watson of the rates that we bring forward as staff to council for approval. But at this time, it's only 2026.
So you did indicate that the water rates could be reduced significantly, even with the 14% increase. Will wastewater be lower as well with the 8% increase?
Through your worship to the councillor, yes, that is correct. They will both be exponentially lower, even with the increases.
Well, this is one of the very first water reports that I actually liked. Then thank you.
Oh, absolutely true. Absolutely. I really appreciate the effort and the work that's been put into this to move away from that 3-year average, which we've all talked about and wanted rid of, but also some good news for our residents. The other thing is this the first opportunity where, since we've gone to this, that residents can actually save a little more by conserving water now. Before there was no initiative to want to conserve water. Now there is, if they want to lower the bill even more. Other questions?
No, and residents can possibly understand their water bill.
Go ahead, Carol.
I just want to remind council and anyone watching, excuse me. This takes effect January 1, so they will be receiving a bill for the remainder of 25 that will be on the 3-year averaging still. So there's still one bill to go out. This will affect their bills starting in 2026.
Sam.
Yeah, through your worship and to all the members of council, and that's a good point from the CAO. I guess I'll just reiterate that whether this goes through or not tonight, just based on the structure change and after obviously the outcome of this meeting, staff will be working on communication that will go to residents through their last bill in December, just highlighting the changes and what's to come and what they can expect and all that kind of stuff. So it's certainly subject to the results of this report this evening. There will be communications going out to all residents in December, just highlighting the upcoming changes and kind of what's next.
And we do need to make a decision tonight because staff needs the opportunity to start making these changes. There's a lot of work to do that. And I can appreciate that. Councillor Irwin.
Move the report, your worship.
Move the report by Councillor Irwin, second by Councillor Nerda. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Our next one, Ashley, is yours, I believe, and that is the regular and special council meeting schedule.
Thank you, and through you, your worship, this report is entitled 2026 Regular and Special Council Meeting Schedule, and it's just for approval tonight to set the special and regular council meetings for the upcoming year. If there's any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions? Pardon me? Go ahead.
Ashley? As you know, I've always had some resistance to these meetings in July and August because they're both planning meetings and staff have to submit all these reports and we're here for many, many hours. Can this agenda be shortened or can we have an extra meeting to address that so they're not here for 6 hours?
Thank you, and through you, that is up to the council to decide if they'd like another meeting, we can schedule one in. However, we can go as proposed and do based on need. That is what staff have been doing in past years. However, it's the will of council.
Well, then I would add on to that then that would these meetings then begin earlier in the day? So that we're not here till midnight?
Thank you, and through you, your worship. The meeting times are prescribed by your procedural bylaw, but as tonight, if there is will of council to have an earlier meeting, then it would just follow that.
Would I need to make that motion now then? That those two meetings begin at 4 or 4:30 as opposed to doing it later?
Okay,
Then I would make that motion that I would support that your submission here with the caveat that the July and August meetings begin at 4:30.
4:30?
Yes.
Is there a seconder for that? Counselor Daigle? Any discussion on it? In favor? Agreed. Okay. Okay. Any other questions on this report? If not, we need a motion to receive this report. No, your motion was to change the time. Okay, okay. All right, so we're good. Committee reports, Lake Huron Primary Water.
Meeting first week of December. I just have to clarify the date.
Okay,
5th, I believe.
okay, Salvo Bayfield, Counselor Canellison, I believe you have a report.
I do. Felicia, could you bring that up on the screen now? So I did attend two Conservation Ontario meetings during the past week, but both were online. The presentation began by stating there's no job loss, but I'd like you all to take a look at the screen there and look at the size of these conservation authorities now. We are the green, we're the Huron Superior, which my understanding is that it goes all the way up to Thunder Bay. So I know that we will be submitting for consideration that we cannot be compared with Thunder Bay in our particular area because we are prime agricultural land, whereas Thunder Bay maybe is not so much. So there's a lot of things that weren't very clear. But the question was asked, what was the purpose of creating this change? What problem were they trying to solve? And the response we got was that they wanted to make everything consistent across the board because conservation authorities have different strategies, different policies, et cetera, and they want to streamline that process to expedite permit approvals. The new board will have 5 to 12 members. That hasn't been decided yet. The current boards will remain in place until the end of our terms, okay? I don't think they have a clear picture of what will happen after that. I think the new agency will begin in January of 2027. But to some extent, they were a little bit clouded about it because they said the regional CAAs will continue to function as they currently do. Okay. So it wasn't really clear. So there's questions asked about our assets because Salvo Bayfield has significant land assets and we have a significant reserves. So the land assets will be retained by the Conservation Authority. The reserves they weren't too clear on. I hope to clarify that tomorrow because as you know, Mayor Ropp, we have significant reserves from the land sale.
We know where the reserves came from, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would be pushing that if need be, that those reserves be utilized to purchase the scout camp here in North Middlesex if it's available, which I understand it will be. I will be pursuing that. Whether I get any support, I don't know. But we'll try. Okay. In this report that you all got, there's a 45-day opportunity to provide feedback to Conservation Ontario, to the ministry regarding these proposed changes. I did try to register for that. For some reason or other, I was not successful in doing that. I'm going to try and find out tomorrow. So if the municipality or members of council here have any thoughts on it, by all means, or staff, by all means, submit a response if you will, if you wish. Okay. Initially, this agency will be funded by the province. Initially, key. They are looking at cost recovery from municipalities down the road. So I suspect that our levies will increase at some point. Okay, but it says here CAAs remain independent and overseen by the governance of the local CAA. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's some questions that we still have to clarify, but it is going to be a significant change.
And I see we have lots of lakeshore frontage that is such a bonus to us.
We have significant lake frontage. However, I did make the comment that every CA or conservation or
Yeah.
whatever, the new ones are all going to have some shoreline.
Yeah.
They're all going to. We have.
Until you get over into the east.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Obviously,
you're
we're
right.
going to have the most, and I think Lower Lake Erie is going to have a significant amount too.
I think, and the other thing I'm in at the county tomorrow morning, and I will talk with the planning department about their thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they got this information or not. I
Yeah,
don't know,
well, we'll find out.
but you can certainly make it available to them.
Okay. All right, questions for Counselor on that? Counselor Keel.
Once, once this thing gets somewhat established, will we be able to have someone from Sabo Bayfield come out, give us the Coles notes on this?
Absolutely. I'll ask Davin tomorrow if he would come out. Is there any particular time you'd like to have him here, Ashley?
Well, I think we want to make sure they have the information for us. If,
Mhm.
you know, if it has to be held off a little bit till they get, you know, they're sure of what they're bringing forward. But I agree, we need to have them come.
Well, and also he was, Davin was willing to come to talk about the budget as well, if there's a desire to have him here for that.
All right, that would be great. If he could come prepared though to talk about this as
Okay.
well, I think that would be
So
awesome.
the budget, he would have to come fairly quickly, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'll let him know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for Sabo Bayfield? Okay, thank you, Counselor. Blue Water Recycling,
Nothing this time.
Economic Development,
Nothing at this time, Your Worship.
thank you. Local School Advisory,
Just the announcement for for council. We have a rescheduled date and time for a meeting with the provincial supervisor. December 18th, 10 a.m. It will be at the Thames Valley District School Board office. I think their senior administration team will be part of that meeting as well. And I just want to note some concerns similar to what we just heard in terms of the Upper Thames. Bill 33 passed third reading today. Bill 33 gives the ability of the province to take over school boards regardless and potentially even eliminate school boards by the next provincial election. So just put that on our radar for future. It passed third reading. It'll be promulgated as soon as the lieutenant governor signs it. I imagine it'll be within the next week or so. So that'll be law.
any questions? Counselor Keel.
Counselor, when this being taken over by the province, is this for school boards that are of questionable practice, or they're in the scope of the provincial government, or are they just picking and choosing?
This is
How
for,
do they determine that?
so the Minister of Education said, quote unquote, I'm not going to wait for school boards to fail for the province to step in.
Counselor Canellison.
Councilor Irwin, does this mean that the current Board of Trustees will be dissolved?
There's every expectation that we'll move to a model like Nova Scotia, where there are no school boards in the province. There are school districts, and the districts are established by the province. The districts could be much larger than the current school boards as well. So, but that's up in the air.
Yeah.
That's all being discussed at this time.
Is there not a suggestion, I think, by the warden of Oxford County to separate Oxford, Elgin, and Middlesex from the city?
All my speculation is they will make boards bigger, not smaller.
Counselor Keel.
Just one quick one. In Counselor Irwin, does that include the separate school boards as well?
Yes. Yes, I mean, if you look at London and District Catholic School Board, for example, they have a $30 million operating deficit this year. So they have a big deficit. They've in terms of the 5 boards that are under provincial supervision, Catholic boards are included in that total of 5. So they are looking at both public and separate boards.
Any other questions there? Recreation Committee,
We have a meeting coming up on the 25th.
okay, thank you. Policy Review,
Not till January, I think, or February.
Fire Committee,
Yes, we have a special meeting on December the 1st to discuss staffing issues.
Okay, thank you. Community Development Fund, that deadline is the end of the month. Is that not right? Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify that it was sent out to community groups and it was posted on our social media and website that it was extended to December the 1st as November 30th falls on a Sunday. So the new application deadline is December 1st at noon.
Okay, thank you. Aqua Client Advisory Board, nothing there. Middlesex County OPP Board,
As reported last time, Your Worship, my first inaugural meeting will be next week. But I have not received my training package as of yet.
okay, thank you. Okay, correspondence, Town of Wasaga Beach, public safety requirements to protect our communities.
I'd make a motion to support that.
Moved by Counselor Canelson, seconded by Counselor Daigle. All in favor? Carried. The Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa, accessible and effective alcohol container return system in Ontario. Supported by Counselor Daigle.
Support.
Seconder, Counselor Irwin. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, other and urgent business. You want to start, Felicia? Yeah, you go ahead and do yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you, I just wanted to provide a little update that our new social stream Embrace North Middlesex is live. For those watching, if they could follow, it will highlight the businesses in North Middlesex as well as events and all other things North Middlesex. So if everyone wants to follow that and keep up to date, that would be great. As well as the mayor and I had the pleasure of going over to The Current, which is now open again. It is open for Christmas vendors. Hopefully we're going to be getting some more information on what this looks like and the timeline. And once we receive that, I will make that available on our website as well as on our new social streams, Embrace North Middlesex.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Joe? Go ahead, Carol.
I have another good news item. A member of our team was speaking with the representatives from the province regarding our Housing Accelerator Fund and meeting our compliance requirements. So in talking with them, we provided them our building stats for this quarter and as compared to where we suggested we would be with regards to them. We have exceeded our expectations as far as building stats for that would be new homes, new townhouses, or any sort of apartment units. They said currently we're the only municipality that they have spoken to that has done so, that has received the HAF2 funding. So pretty proud of that we have exceeded that. So it shows to the good work that is continue to go on, as well as the growth we're still seeing despite, the noticed downturn in most areas. We're still seeing the development.
Okay. Counselor Irwin, you had.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to invite and remind council that the Elsa Craig Holiday Extravaganza is this Friday. I did pass some sheets out listing the various stops. One thing of note is the local wellness hub, the old pizza place, is now a gym and will be officially opening that evening on the 21st. So I toured it today. They've done a wonderful job renovating it, and they already have a number of people signed up to participate in it. So that's a great asset for our community. If you look at the back, there's lots to do here. As Councilor Cornelison, you notice at the Old Town Hall, you can dance with Mrs. Claus all evening. So we'd like to see you there for that.
Any questions for that? No, okay, other business? Go ahead.
And my question is for Alicia and Brandon. Would it be possible to get a report on Damien Optimum Health there, what the participation is for the gym?
Yes, I will work with Brandon on that, and then maybe we can bring that to our Q4 or a separate report for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, other business? Deputy Mayor Hodgins?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple questions if I may, and one is the Felicia. I think I did speak to you once. Maybe you've already done it, and I apologize if you have. I was talking to you about, I've seen on Facebook or whatever other thing, that they're offering counselor training, like for another year, started if you're, I don't know, did you put anything out for North Middlesex? One question.
I did share that was through AMCTO, and I did share the resources that they provided on this program. So that went on our regular Municipality of North Middlesex social stream. This is also the goal of Embrace North Middlesex, that unfortunately so much is being shared on our current Municipality of North Middlesex pages that things are getting lost. So hopefully in the new year with Embrace North Middlesex, these things will be easily found.
Okay, go ahead.
And one more thing, and maybe just tell folk, because he did all the work, there are many of these still left in the counselor slot over across the hallway. If those counselors haven't picked them up yet, I think Ralph would appreciate it.
Did he make you say that? But you're right, they're sitting there to pick up tonight. Yeah, okay. Counselor Daigle.
One other thing I'd just like to see brought forward, hopefully in the new year. You go through a lot of rural municipalities, and when you drive in, and there's the sign about green lights for firefighters, for people to understand that you got to get out of the way of the green light, not just the red lights. I'd like to see a plan put forward that they get put in our municipality too. It just reminds drivers, all of a sudden they see a green light coming up behind them. They have no idea what it is. They just keep in the way.
Do we need a motion for that?
Certainly, are we getting direction to go ahead with those, or is it just a suggestion to bring it forward for consideration?
I'll say, go ahead.
You're making a motion to go forward with that.
As part of the
Second.
26 budget?
And a seconder is Counselor Keel.
But you can recommend council for consideration.
Okay. That's the wording of the motion.
Okay.
That's the wording that Counselor Daigle meant. The green.
Thank you. And through you, just to clarify that because the municipality has been afforded strong mayor powers, the budget cycle looks a little bit different. So recommendations have to be directed to the head of council for consideration in the budget process this year. So if we were to consider expenditures in the 2026 budget, we would have to amend the motion to reflect direction to the head of council for consideration in the 2026 budget.
And that was the motion.
Okay, now I appreciate that, Ashley. Thank you.
So do we need you all in favor? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any other business? No other business? Communication, including county council. I want to thank Brandon Drew for emceeing the warden's banquet. I appreciate it. He did a good job. He treated me a lot better than I really expected to be treated, but it did a very good job. And thanks to everyone who came. It would be different. So reading of the bylaws.
Thank you. And through you, your worship, first and second reading tonight would be that bylaws 92 to 94 of 2025 be read a first and second time.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Hodgins. Councilor Nerda, all in favor? Carried.
Same bylaws tonight for third and final.
Councilor Irwin and Councilor Keo, all in favor? Carried. And move to adjourn. Councilor Nerda, Councilor Keo, all in favor? Carried. Have a good evening, everyone. Just